Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Endless Celts Podcast, the first edition of the viewer Takeover special. I'm delighted to be joined by Keiser. I'll come to you first, buddy. How are you?
Excellent, bro. Thank you for having me. Here. Hope everybody in the chat's ready for this, bro. Hope they're ready.
We had a quite interesting chat backstage there, but I'm sure we'll get into it shortly. And I'm joined by my deadly duo partner, Francis. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I don't know what's going to happen here now. After the last 5 minutes, I don't know what's going to happen now.
I have tears in my eyes, mate. I can barely concentrate. But I just want to say thanks. Jed's in already. Alistair, Jack, Kenny's in. Patrick's in. Blank. We'd love to know your name, Blank. Brian's in. Anthony Dunn. Frank Kennedy. I'm sure Keiser knows you all very well in that chat anyway. He's always talked to each other.
I met all the boys in a special place. We were on holiday together. We were on the Algarve. We had nights on the beach, bro. It was beautiful. I was Maeda in it for the boys.
Right, Keiser, let's get to the serious stuff. Come on here, get
the serious
cartoons
stuff.
off. We need to start with the main issue I have at the minute. I know we're going to talk about the Champions League, but this Super 6, as you can see on our screen, get involved with it. The league code is CF5VDD. Francis is still top. How are you putting this off, Francis?
I know people, Stephen. I just can't fit, sir. I just can't fit, kid.
You're doing something, all right. You're definitely doing something, Dozzy. But we'll crack in, and anyone get your scores in this weekend because we're going to review it again in Monday's podcast. But we'll start with the Champions League draw, Keiser. We've got Real Madrid, RB Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk. How you feeling about that?
I love it, bro. I feel with Celtic we're a giant slayer. When we play a giant team like Real Madrid, we can slay that team. But sometimes when it's like pick on a team your own size, we'll choke on minnows. You know what I mean? Again, we don't raise our game enough, or the crowd doesn't turn up enough. I don't know what it is really, but we tend to stumble on smaller teams. But in comparison to your team and the financial power that we have, who really is a smaller team compared to us in the Champions League, apart from the rotten mob across the city? And they'll be like, "Oh, don't talk about us." You know what I mean? But that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think you're 100%. You're 100% right. Now, I do understand what you're saying in terms of giant slayings, giant killings. We have got a history of that, and me and Ross touched upon it yesterday, Franny, when we were speaking during our watch along, which actually was really successful. So thanks everyone for watching. That was nearly 2 hours long, but we were talking about the fact that sometimes Celtic don't really necessarily show their best, and I think you made a great point there, Keiser, in terms of the minnows. Bodo Glimt, for example, last season. I mean, that was, for me, it was just a horrendous result in European football. So what are you expecting with that draw? Because obviously you weren't a part of it yesterday, but how are you feeling?
See, I think... Sorry, are you talking to me, bro, Francis? Sorry, bro, I'm just jumping in. I'm like, it's me. It's my takeover. Sorry, bro, right? I feel like what Postecoglou's done for he's arrived is rebuild Celtic and the training concepts that he's bringing to the training field. Like I always say, if you dedicate yourself to a process, after 10,000 hours, you are a master of that process. That's it. It's not like any trick to it. It's just hard work. So we've already got the squad there who have done a season of hard work. Ange Ball's about to kick into 2.0 and we're going into the Champions League and we're going to dominate. We're actually going to pull the scants down half of people and we're going to dominate. Now, playing in Scotland, it's horrendous because teams camp in, they sit back, they don't come out and play against Celtic, so we never get to test our mettle against like v like, going pound for pound, blow for blow in a domestic scenario. But in a European scenario, the Champions League, Real Madrid are not going to sit back and defend against Celtic. So they're going to push out and they're going to leave us all sorts of space to exploit. Along with the other teams as well, their fans will not accept them sitting back and playing for a result against Celtic. And I also feel with Bodo Glimt, right, guys, they are a dedicated, well-trained, well-oiled machine. 2 years into the process of rebuilding, they had an entire month of watching Celtic's footage, compiling training the way Ange trains. Look at the way their team play. They pulled the pants off Roma, and we ain't fucking Roma. You know what I mean? So them training and setting up and dedicating themselves to come in and beat our team shows how well they implemented their game strategy. It doesn't show that we were a poor team. Yes, it was a poor performance. Our team never came into the game and never played their game. The way Ange always says, he wants the team to express herself, play their football, and that never happened. But that's purely down to the work ethic and the way Bodo Glimt played. That's why every squad thought that was the making. They thought that's the making of, that's the formula how to beat Celtic. We've seen the rotten mob come in and go, or just get in their face, and that's how you beat them. Well, they still couldn't beat us after that. You know what I mean? We're just a better team. We've got better quality players, a better quality manager. And I do rate Rangers, right? You don't get to be in a European Cup final. And wee Gio obviously got a bit of metal about him because he tinkers with the squad. He adjusts players. He micromanages. You know what I mean? It's going to be, if they get it together and we get it together, I'm going to Mass every Sunday and say my prayers for a Champions League final against them. Roll the dice, big man.
I tell you what, Keiser, I'm loving your energy, bro. It's just fantastic to have you on this pure takeover.
I loved him how he described Bodo Glimt's team, because that must have killed you, because you thought we should have been pummeling them.
I did, but I get what Keiser meant, because I remember in the build up to that they didn't play for a full month in Norway. I think it might have been their shutdown, or they were coming back from it, and they had as you said, Keiser, a full month. And Bodo Glimt are no mugs, let's be honest. But Francis, I don't know if you share the same enthusiasm as Keiser. Be interested to hear this. But what do you think about what Keiser said? Because he does make some great points there, to be fair.
If you get a chance, Francis.
I'm optimistic. I wanted Real Madrid. I wanted the glamour of Real Madrid. They are the Champions League. It's the Champions League and Real Madrid go hand in hand. So it was always good to get them. If you check my Twitter, I actually predicted Ajax, Leipzig, and I think it was Porto. So in a way, I've got two of the teams I thought. I think Shakhtar Donetsk, obviously what's going on in Ukraine. I don't know where they're going to be. I know the game's getting played in Poland and things like that. Giacomakis back.
That's for the cat. That's for the cat. Sorry. You keep talking about the foosball.
I don't know where they're going to be and how well prepared they are and things like that. So I think you've got to target the Shakhtar games home and away. Leipzig, I think you should be hoping to win home. And you've seen what, like Keiser said, what Rangers done with Leipzig just fairly recently. So I think I'm by all means, I'm not expecting us to qualify for the group, but I think we'll qualify and stay in the Champions League. But I think we should have real aspirations to finish third in that group. And you've still not got that bloody smoke alarm fixed.
Shut up.
But I think we should be. I think if we don't get third, I think third would be some sort of success. But if you really have got a wee bit of belief that you can get third, maybe I'll give you a wee bit of belief to maybe next second. You just didn't know. Look, obviously the fixtures haven't been out yet, and probably in an ideal world, Real Madrid batter everybody. We play Real Madrid first and last, or whatever, however it would work. They batter everybody, and then they're coming to Parkhead in the last game, already qualified, already top, and we've got a chance of winning. Like we've maybe got a straight shootout between third and second. That would be an ideal situation. You've got a home game to maybe get second, but you're guaranteed worst case third. But I don't think third is out of grasp. I don't think they should look at it as out of grasp. I don't think Ange will look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think Keiser second is achievable. I mean, you look at the RB Leipzig games in particular. I agree, Stephen.
I think it is achievable, but I think third. I think third should be. It should be no less than third, so to speak.
But I think the way the headlines have been portrayed already, I've seen in the mainstream media. There was a tweet today. It was quite funny. It's funny how Leipzig go from being a poor German team 4 months ago to being excellent and among the elite clubs in Europe when they're getting pitted against Celtic. But Keiser, me personally, I think second place is achievable. I'm not really that scared of Real Madrid. I said this yesterday. I don't think they have. I mean, they've lost a few key players, Casemiro, Marcelo. They've all left Real Madrid for pastors new and all that. But I just think there's enough about us to give them a challenge. There's enough about Celtic for me at home as well. If we get Madrid first, they start usually slow in the Champions League in the group stages. I think they don't really care, let's be honest. They just want to get through the knockouts and into the finals. That's what they care about. But me personally, second place for me is achievable. Shakhtar Donetsk, we've got history against them. Massimo Donati scored a cracking last-minute winner to make it 2-1 in 2007. The place erupted at Celtic Park. But what would be your hopes and aspirations for European football this season?
Well, seriously, right, compiling the mathematics, right, compiling the maths.
This is going scuba fair, like.
And I'm a smarty pants, bro. I told you, smarty pants. You know what I mean? Compiling it together, for me, ideal, I would love to have Real match day 1 at Paradise, right? I would love that. To go out, lay down a marker, hopefully catch them cold, lay down a marker with our squad, go out and play our brand of football, win, lose or draw. And I do feel it's going to be massive, the 12th man, the crowd, right? Look at the way teams come, and even teams domestically are coming to Paradise and they're coming to set up and frustrate the crowd. They're looking to turn the crowd against the team. They take your greatest weapon, which is the atmosphere of Parkhead, and they turn it against you. They silence the crowd. That's one thing that I do not want to see happen in Europe. I want it to be like carnival, party, throwing pigs' heads on the pitch. I've got a light up suit that makes me look like a stick man. I'll pitch invade. I'll be there. You'll see me. I'll be there. You get me? I love it. In regards, maximum respect to the other teams, right, that we've drawn. I do feel that we're capable of taking maximum points at home. And if we're taking 9 points for the 3 home games, any sort of result away, win or draw, it's enough. 10 points is going to be enough to see us through in second. But personally, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. Like, if Ange peas, I think it's a rainbow that comes out of it, bro. You get me? I'm dreaming. I'm in Wonderland. Like, I'm truly wake up every morning thinking it's a glorious time to be a Celtic fan. And it's all going to just keep compounding. When I look at our squad and I think of the players in our squad, Kyogo, Matt O'Reilly, Hatate, all these players, and you're like, they're going to have a coming of age. Giamakis, like they're going to really have a coming of age season, announce themselves in the European stage. They've got a lot to prove to themselves and through our club. Massive platform for them. And I just really feel like even Joe Hart, I feel Joe Hart is going to be like one of my favourite Celtic players right now is Joe Hart.
Yeah.
His attitude, his professionalism. I think they should bring back Soldier. You know what I mean? With Robson and Jerome, and get big Joe Hart and Matt O'Reilly in there. I'll buy it. You know, I'll watch it every week. You know what I mean? I think adamant professional. No screaming at the ball boy to get the ball fast, obviously, because we've got the fastest ball boys in Europe. You know what I mean? I think we're more than capable of winning every game at home. It was one thing that used to bug me about Strachan, when Strachan was the manager, and before that, when Martin was the manager, Martin O'Neill. Everybody mentions Martin O'Neill, but when Martin O'Neill was the manager, the home crowd at Celtic Park could whip our team into such a frenzy that our players would elevate their game and challenge the best clubs in world football. But when we went away from home, who was responsible for whipping our players into that frenzy? It was the manager, the man management, Martin O'Neill. One thing I didn't like about Gordon Strachan, well, I thought he was tactically brilliant and a great manager for Celtic. I thought he wasn't as much a man manager, and he never achieved the performances away. And one thing I think Ange Postecoglou has in buckets is man management. I think he's going to have a big board, and he's going to have pictures of Antonio Raulstinho rolling up for 6 years old, playing with stones up to bricks, being a brickie, and here he is in the Champions League for Glasgow Celtic. I'm telling you, it's even to think about it, it makes the hair in the back of my neck stand up. It's inspirational. I think it's going to be an inspirational season, and we are going to dominate. We are going to sweep the floor. And I don't care. I don't care if I get clipped and put on every social media, and every Rangers fan clips it with that series. I can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it goes bam, 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 bam. You get me? That's it, mate. I don't care. I'm willing to be clipped. I love my team, passionately support, and I don't care what anybody's got to say. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Tall, I like that. Big blue eyes, and I live in Ibrox. I wear a Celtic top. See, if you don't like it, you'll see me. I'm hardly invisible.
I want to come to the comments here. I want to say a big hello to my wee brother who's in. Nice to see you in the chat here. Yo. Egyptian King is on about Group A. Kevin Gallagher says you sound like Bobby out of Scott Squad. I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
He must be good.
Everyone's agreeing with you in terms of like what you're saying, and I think he makes a great point, Francis. Like, we all are passionate supporters, right? And we all make off the cuff remarks, and sometimes we're a bit hasty to judge or hasty to make opinions and hoping it comes true. But me personally, like, I'm really confident this season in the Champions League. I can see us making an impact. I really believe that second place is achievable. But as you said, third place should be the base mark where we're like, yes, that's ours. Anything after that's a great achievement. But one thing, Keiser,
is a disaster.
Really?
Seriously, I know it's still European football, right? I know it is, right? But that is not our level. We are a Champions League club. We are elite. You know what I mean? When I walk down the street with my hoops on, my head is held high. The Glasgow's green and white. We're elite. We're an elite club. And I'm no buying into Europa League mentality. You get me? See, if
but it's not
Champions League, we should win that competition. We should not be in there messing about. If the rotten mob can get to a final and we beat them domestically with a better team, better players, we should have went one step further. And that's it for me.
I don't think it's a Europa League mentality. What I think it is what we're used to at the minute. We haven't seen Celtic in the Champions League since 2017, the 2018 season, so we can't really effectively judge what we're going to see and how it's going to go. Yes, we're all confident the second place is available and it's achievable, definitely with Leipzig and Shakhtar Donetsk. But, I mean, I blame that side of things on the board for not putting the investment in properly, not standing still when we were winning, especially in the Rodgers era. There was loads of time to invest. We were turning over £100 million a year. The investment didn't come through. We kind of stagnated. Postecoglou, Francis, has come in. And like Keiser said, he's a great man manager. He makes the players stand tall. You've got the likes of Matt O'Reilly, Kyogo, Rio Hatate, Maeda. They're going to star in the Champions League. But one thing I want to ask you, Francis, before I come to you, Keiser, do you think there's going to be an adaptation of the style against certain teams, or do you think it's just Postecoglou's way and that's it in the Champions League?
It'll be Postecoglou's way, but I think it's a wee bit ignorant and a wee bit. I don't think embarrassing the right word, but like to think that Postecoglou's only got one way of playing, I think is like it's a wee bit ignorant towards the manager.
Easy on. I'm not saying that.
Well, you asked the question. You said, "Do you think he'll play one way, or do you think he'll adapt it?" I think we can't sit in one hand and say Postecoglou's a fantastic manager, and then go he only plays one way. But fantastic managers didn't play one way. They adapt. They'll play like we always say. They'll play the fixture. He'll adapt during the game. And things like that, he'll set up a team always with one hand, going, well, if it doesn't go this way, 10, 15 minutes into the game, I can maybe change it, but I'm not having to make a sub. I can muck about the formation, players can go into here. So I think he will adapt. He's clearly an intelligent man.
Yo, Paddy, let's go.
And like I say, we can't be sitting praising Postecoglou being a wonderful manager, saying he's this, he's that, and then also going, but he only plays one way. I think that's doing the guy a discredit. If he will adapt, and he clearly adapted plenty of times last season. So I think he will adapt to the occasion. I think he'll thrive on the challenge of playing against like in the elite competition in Europe and stuff like that. So I think we're well equipped. Obviously, it could be better. We can always do better. Like you say, you can't stand still, Stephen. You can always be better if you can get better players in. Whatever, great. But I think if he would be happy right now with what he's got to go and challenge in that Champions League. But I think it would be doing the guy a discredit, as I say, if we said that he can only play one way and he will have to adapt. He will adapt.
Yeah, again, I didn't mean it in a disrespectful manner.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, what I meant was you look at the way we play in the SPFL. We're on the front foot. We're playing. You never really see us defend, being under pressure, and coping with that is an issue for Celtic, in my opinion, because sometimes our defence can leak goals. I mean, it's obvious. We leaked a few in pre-season from winning 2-0 against English First Division club. So get into Europe, it's always going to be a worry. I mean, you're going to concede. We have to score more, obviously. But where do you stand in the whole style issue? And I like your wee studio, by the way. It's got even better. We upgrade there.
Breaking news, brother, right? See, what you're describing there is a narrative by people to try and convince you that our manager, who plays chess instead of checkers, by the way, other managers are playing checkers, one move at a time. Our manager is 3 steps ahead. What he does with his team is not a fixed style of play. It's a philosophy of play. You will attack. We will have inverted fullbacks. You get me? Now you could, I know inverted fullbacks, right? But you could push your fullbacks into midfield and play with 3 defenders. It's an interchangeable system. It's a style. It's an idealistic dream. I don't care what's happening. You will be attacking. You will be non-stop. You will be running. That is the one way. That is the Postecoglou way. That is not a tactical description of how Celtic play or what formation or whether Joe Hart plays centre half or centre mid or if he's in goals. That is irrelevant. People who say that are pitching a narrative. They're trying to diminish your manager and diminish his intelligence. That is the silliest thing I've ever heard. See, if our manager needs to adjust...
Couldn't agree more, by the way. Couldn't agree more.
If our manager needs to adjust tactically, right, he will adjust tactically. If he wants to play a 3-5-2, he will do that. But believe me, like, see if you think this highly intelligent, like, Ange's an elite level manager. Let's just call it. Like, I never knew who he was before he arrived. Like, shame the devil. I'm not going to blow smoke up your arse, right? I never knew who he was before he arrived. But certainly when his name was mentioned, I researched him. I seen what he done. I was like, this guy's got balls. Sheesh. I seen him arguing during a press interview where a guy was telling him he should take responsibility and resign. And he was like, is that what you want, bro? I was like, this guy's fucking brilliant. Get him in here. Get him down here. Mama's single. Hit Ange. You know what I mean? Love the jumper. And honestly, guys, that's narrative. That's people playing a narrative. That's the same sort of narrative you see get introduced all the time. Like last season before Kyogo got injured and Bhoys started saying every 2 seconds, he's offside, he's offside, he's offside. That's to whether or not you realise that, that's propaganda. That reaches the media, it reaches the press, it reaches the radio. Linesman, referee, listen to the radio. They read papers. I'm sorry to rock anybody's world. They hear this stuff. It gets in that ear. It gets in that ear and they hear that narrative. And when they look across the pitch and they're in doubt, they go flag up. They don't go, oh, Kyogo's got lightning fast movement and he's incredibly intelligent. His brain's actually firing faster than Maeda's legs. You know what I mean? If we had Kyogo's brain on Maeda's legs, there'd be no stopping us. You know what I mean? We'd rule the world. But that's to establish that indifference and make the linesman make that call. Same with referees right now, guys. All the narrative with referees, there's no professional referees, right? It's not a professional trade. I can't go and apply and become a referee and make it my profession. It's amateur in Scotland. They're amateur referees, right? And then every ref who does a bad job gets dragged through every newspaper and called an arsehole. But see, when he does a good job, they would get referee of the week. They would get team of the week and referee of the week at the side. This man made the calls. I know that was a shite game, but see the calls he made there. Boom, upgrade him. Start bringing him up through the ranks, preaching his name, make the men professionals and give them wages and stop having fucking Tory MPs. You know what I mean? Fucking big the Tory MPs. Start getting into people who love football, ex-professionals, people who were amateur or people who were professionals and injured, people like John Kennedy. People like John Kennedy, who's got a job for life at Celtic, apparently, you know what I mean? And people are, my man Julian, you know, Stephen, I'm sorry, mate, I know you're melting there as I say his name. I can't even find my class on. I'll switch to the class on again for Julian, bro. You get me? Him going on social media and messaging and crediting Neil Lennon and crediting the team, but not mentioning Ange Postecoglou. Well, people will say there, oh, he didn't mention Ange. There's beef between him and Ange. But if he did mention Ange, people would be like, cynical. The full message is cynical. He didn't play for Ange. Ange didn't play you. So they can read it 2 ways. They're going to take what narrative they want and run with it. You know what I mean? Take your narrative and run with it. I'm too busy having fun. You know what I mean? I'm too busy enjoying Celtic.
To be fair, Keiser, like I do, like again, I am not for 1 second saying he plays one way. Let's get that out there, right?
Oh, you said it, bro. That was you.
Listen, Keiser, I am saying, as you said, the narrative that's been spun by certain sections of media organisations, supporters of other clubs. I don't believe it. I know we play different ways. I've seen this adapt.
Excellent.
The Rangers game, for example, when we finished at 3-0, second half.
Intelligence. You get me? You carry on, bro, but sorry, but you get me? See, when people say those things, they're not showing that they're a football person, they've got a football brain, or they watch football and enjoy the sport. They understand the beauty and the love of the game, the tactical movement and what's happening, what's going on in the pitch. They're just going, well, you only plays one way. You know what I mean? Fuck's sake, man. Get back on your spoon, buddy. There's a roll of Scottish for you there for you. You're an idiot. You know what I mean? You've got Lego between the ears. You know what I mean?
Call me an idiot? Get my spoon
no. That's an imaginary person, bro. I'll have words for you. Wait, but you called me before we jumped in there, buddy. Don't you know what I mean?
No, I mean, we seen the different style of Celtic when we went 3-0 up, finished the game against them. We just kind of sat off and let them have the ball and do. We all know we play different ways. I was just coming across merely, as Keiser already pointed out, the narrative that's spun by different sections. And you always see the different headlines when we win games and they win games. It's pretty obvious to see. Pretty well covered there, Keiser, as well, by the way. But one thing I do want to move on to is, before I melt here, is the transfer activity side of things. And we've seen Haksabanovic coming in. I want to come to both of you. I'm actually really interested in this. It is the kind of hot topic at the minute. Forrest, Johnson. Francis, does this spell the end maybe for them featuring a lot? I mean, Johnson is linked with a loan move, but what about Forrest in particular?
What was it? Forrest got a 3-year deal. I can't see that being the end of Forrest. I think he'll feature most. I appreciate it may not feature as much as what he would have done if Haksabanovic never came in, but I don't think it's the end of him. I think I was probably willing to give Johnson another go, but equally, if he could find himself a new club, I'd have been like, right, on you go. It's how many times can we keep giving you a chance? But I can't see how there can be a future for Mikey Johnson on the back of this signing, because if, again, similar to Postecoglou, know nothing about this Haksabanovic, apart from the fact that we tried to sign him last summer and Ruben Kazan got him instead of us. But I can't say I even followed his progress offers in where he was at Ruben Kazan either. So all I know is he can apparently play across the front three, so it doesn't look good for Mikey Johnson and potentially Forrest, because I would say Abada's ahead of Forrest. I think that's a fair comment. Jota seems to be ahead of Abada right now. Angie's front three seems to prefer Maeda and Jota occupying the left and right position. So for me, I think Forrest he seems a good professional in the sense that I don't think he'll feature as much, but you never know, he might get circumstances, he might get a run of games and perform and stays in off the back of that. But I think Forrest has more got the deal because he can still contribute when needed. He's a proper professional in the sense that he's no causing any grief in the background. He's no upsetting the dressing room. He knows his position in the squad. He knows what it is to beat Celtic. He knows what it is to win things. So players like Abada, who's still a young boy, can look at Forrest and go, look, wee bit of dedication here. Look what I can achieve at this club. And I might go to big things. I don't know what's going on there. But to sum up, I don't think it's end of Forrest, but I would be surprised if Mikey Johnson... I think it would be in Mikey Johnson's best interest to try and get away from Celtic.
Yeah, I think Keiser might be a bit thirsty there. He's drinking from the toilet. But I mean, Keiser, I think it's a great point in terms of the whole James Forrest argument, kind of a mentor role. Come on, get yourself up here. I don't want to see a toilet when I'm speaking.
I get you, bro. Get you, sorry.
in terms of obviously the mentor role with Abada and the young players coming through, even the likes of Maeda can learn off for us because of his longevity at Celtic Football Club. Mikey Johnson, for me, is finished. He should have been away last season. I don't understand why we keep giving the chances. And Haksabanovic, as Ange Postecoglou said in recent press conferences, he wants players who can play across different positions. Now, he can play a 9, a 10, off the left and off the right. So there's the versatility side of things coming in. But what do you think about the two players that leaves behind, Johnson and Forrest?
I think, personally, right, love to see a youth player coming through, right? Straight away, right? Everyone's invested in Mikey Johnson, right? We want to see him do well. I do feel that if he had a breakaway, right, and it could be like what happened with Jota at Benfica. Jota came away and we embraced him. Maybe there's a bit much pressure, and because he's failed so many times, it's just stuck in that cycle. But it's definitely time for Mikey to move on and try and build a career somewhere else, which is not here, right? And James Forrest, I'm actually a big fan of James Forrest, right? I know. Like now he's slowed down, and people like his legs are gone. He's finished. But I think the years that Celtic have leaned on James Forrest, the goals that he's delivered, the Champions League qualifications, you know what I mean? The times he's sprung up, played for Celtic since he was a very young guy, and put the work in over the years, and not paid massive salary. We're not talking like he doesn't get paid anywhere near like modern pros in England or anything like that. But he gets a fair wage for Celtic, and I think Celtic are keeping him around sort of like a club pro. You know what I mean? Someone who's engaging with the wingers and helping them develop. I don't know for the life of me why he's not told Maeda, listen, Maeda, just knock it by the guy and fucking run. It's so fucking easy.
Do you think that because, I mean, John on the podcast, he's obviously seen him on with us, he says that's his one issue with Maeda in terms he doesn't take a man on. Is that an issue for you? It's interesting to bring that up.
I like his hard work, right? And I like everything he offers. We've had players who offer hard work as well, and I've respected them purely for their hard work, right? And offering some goals at times. Right, that mutant monster who looks like he was sucking the exhaust fumes off the Technodrome, Kenny Miller. He was a hard worker, right? He was a very hard worker for Celtic. Played a similar role to Maeda. I do feel if Maeda would knock the ball past a player and exploit his pace, then the interchange between Jota and Maeda switching over, suddenly you've got a defender who's on his toes and sprinting for the ball, and then you switch with a defender who's got a high level of skill, who can step over the ball, and that defender's sent sailing. They're complementing each other. You know what I mean? It's a complementary thing. I think Haksabanovic is going to be a really good signing. He is versatile. He does play across the front. What I've seen most people say about him is he's a talent. He's got a bit of personality. He's got that about him. He's got something about him. Not many goals. His goal conversion rate, basically. He assists more. He's more of like 3-4 assists, and that would be 3 assists and he's got a hat trick. That's the way he would see it. An assist is as good as a goal, I suppose. And I think that if he was like an original, if Ange had his eye on him originally, then we can like rely on this guy being a success. Like I would put money in the bank in my book. Like the original target was Jens, right, to come in at left centre back, and that deal fell through. So we had Jens at left centre back, Starfelt right centre back. So the deal for Jens fell through. Jens went somewhere else, right, and we had to bring in CCV. So then the manager looks at those 2 players and goes, right, well, Cameron Carter-Vickers, you're a solid player, brilliant on the right, but you can't play left side of defence. So he played Starfelt out of position. Starfelt's running wide, covering Mikey Johnson every time Mikey Johnson extends up the pitch. Covering Greg Taylor every time Greg Taylor extends up the pitch and inverts. Starfelt needs to push it wide and cover that space. You seen it in the Old Firm, right, when they went down the wing and they just passed, run about JJ. You get me? Just run. Juranovic went to push forward towards Kent and they just passed the ball, run about him like he was a 6-year-old child. And people are like, it made him look stupid. It looked like a bad defender there. But see, if you actually see his face, what he actually did was he actually turned to the side and leered at the middle of the pitch and growled at Cameron Carter-Vickers for not coming out and pushing the man and helping him. Cameron Carter-Vickers is a great player, but like he doesn't move much. You get me, guys? He'll push forward. I like the way, like, usually the ball would come through Carter-Vickers and he would play the ball out of defence. I do think he is a very insightful passer and can play a good forward ball. But I think Jens is better at stepping out of defence. And the little that I've seen of Jens, I think he's better at that. So I think that's what he's there for. That's what he's there to do. And I think in Angie's mind, Welsh will compete with Jens for left centre-back and Starfelt will compete with Carter-Vickers. And then in both positions, we've got players pushing and fighting each other. And that's how you get the best of your players. That's exactly what we're looking for, 2 players for every position. And
you need that.
Sorry, bro.
You need that continuity, as you said, 2 players for each position to kind of challenge each other and make each other better. It's interesting what you said there about Starfelt and CCV competing and Welsh and Jens. Me personally, I don't think it's going to go like that. It's going to be Starfelt. Well, Carter Vickers, Starfelt and Jens at the moment. Obviously, Jens is playing really well, but you can't discount what Starfelt done for us last season. There's still a player in there, of course. But I want to come to yourself, Francis, and
before you like that Maeda one, when you were talking about Maeda, can I just ask, like, Taylor was a bit of the whipping boy, and I feel like we've got an element in our support that, like, they need a whipping boy. I was kind of on Taylor's case for a wee while, and now Taylor's turned in ridiculous performances for the last probably season anyway, last year, and now it's kind of moved on to Maeda for some random reason. But what is Maeda doing different this season to what he was doing when he came in at January? I think Nothing. He's in the exact. So Nothing. why is folk on Maeda's case saying, "Hey, I would like him to do this, I would like him to do that." I think January to the end of till we won the league. Everybody loved Maeda.
I mean, Francis, bro, is like you can constructively criticise a player. You
don't just look at
your players and go,
I get that.
"Oh man, he's the best player ever."
Nobody was constructively criticising him when he came in January up till we won the league. Nobody had an issue with Maeda then.
They were constructively criticising him, bro, because they were criticising his finishing and the fact that he got a few chances and he seemed to squander them. And people would say, "Tell you something, ain't no way that guy's a centre forward. He should be playing on the wing." So people were criticising him. People were looking at his game and looking at maybe the little flaws in his game and thinking, right, he's got a couple of little flaws there, but he's very much like a rough diamond. He could be polished up. And I do think his work rate is just exemplary. If every player turns up with his work rate, then like they say, right, like a famous boxer once said, I'm sure it was Marvin Hagler or Sugar Ray Leonard that said that it's hard to get up and train when you wake up in silk sheets. Now, they're professionals for Real Madrid, not they're waking up in silk sheets. Celtic are going to make them run. They're going to make them run every minute. Every minute of every game, you're going to be running. So when you think you get a break because it's a shy a free kick, you don't. You're running. Celtic are going to. We are going to do damage. I just feel it in my bones. We are going to do damage.
You've certainly brought the enthusiasm tonight, Keiser. It's brilliant to see. I mean, there's a lot of love for you in the comments. You as well, Francis. Nice Celtic talk.
He gave us it.
Well, there you go. He's promoting it on the podcast for you. I mean, it is. I mean, again, the dark night, my wee brother comes in there. Subscribe to the Endless Celts Podcast. Thank you, wee man. Yes, people, if you haven't done it, hit that subscribe and like button. Would be greatly appreciated. And this again is our first edition of the Future Takeover with Keiser, and I'm absolutely loving it. Bringing in the money, exactly. But moving on there a wee bit here, Francis, with outgoings.
Benjamins, subscribe.
We've seen obviously Matt O'Reilly come out of nowhere. Keiser actually told me on Twitter that he's been linked with a move to Liverpool and other clubs like United. Can you see that happening, Francis?
Nah, I don't see any big player leaving, unless it's silly money. But then what we deem silly money has got to be different from what the Celtic board deems silly money. But I reckon Postecoglou not want to lose Matt Riley. Now, Matt Riley was obviously linked with Liverpool, if rumours are to believe, were looking at him before Celtic signed him, because although we're kind of late to that, they all do the analytics style of thing and get players based on the analytics. And we've obviously just fairly recently brought in the guy for Benfica and that does a similar job. So it wouldn't surprise me that Liverpool are obviously still looking at Matt Riley, because he will obviously still be on that system of how they look at players. But do I see him going to Liverpool? And I mean, I would say Liverpool are crying out for a creative player, because when they lose Thiago, they're not the same midfield without Thiago. No, I think Matt Riley's brilliant, but he's nowhere near Thiago Alcantara. He's not at that level. I think he could go to Man United simply because of where Man United are right now. I think if it was Man United, Ferguson era, Matt Riley, as much as I love him, at this stage probably isn't getting near that Man United team. But it has to be. No, I don't think at this present moment Matt Riley's worth 20 million, but it would have to be 20 million plus for me to even think about selling somebody like Matt Riley. What you've got to look at the now with guys like, not even just Matt Riley, like O'Reilly, obviously, Giakoumakis seems to be in the papers as well, that teams want. They type of level of players that are very important. You've got to look at how much are they going to be worth to us, because if we win the league again this season, we're straight in the Champions League again. So that's I'll take that. So that's another, depending on offers, because obviously with Rangers qualifying, you're no guaranteed the 40 million. They get some of the TV money, so your guaranteed money is a wee bit down. But just for talking's sake, it is the 40 million. So as much as I said, like 20 million maybe gets you Matt O'Reilly, in my eyes, what you've got to then look at is going, is it worth taking that risk for 20 million to potentially lose 40 million? But if you keep a Matt O'Reilly, you've more chance of winning the league with Matt O'Reilly, obviously, but it's obviously no guaranteed you'll win the league and get that 40 million be going in the Champions League, but you're willing to take that risk and go, I can guarantee 20 million and potentially get the 60 million back. That, for me, it would have to be 20 million plus to even be at the table talking about selling O'Reilly. And I think Postecoglou's got enough clout now that no key players will be leaving this season.
Yeah.
Next summer, I think we've got a very different conversation.
I think it's very interesting as well. We know Haksabanovic, Keiser can play across the front four, including the number 10 position. In no way am I linking that to a man already departure, but it's quite funny that in the papers we've seen Giakoumakis linked with clubs down south. We've seen Juranovic linked with the likes of Chelsea and United. Matt O'Reilly linked with Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United as well, just to name a few. Is it just a case of papers or maybe agents trying to unsettle the players to see if they get a better move down south? Or is it just purely paper talk and a lot of shite? What do you think about this?
Celtic are listed as the hottest place to come for a young player to develop and win themselves a transfer to a bigger club or a bigger league with more money. Celtic are listed by FIFA as like the place to be, right? The place to be for young players coming through. Look at, like, I glance across our midfield and I look at Hatate and I'm like, he's got the potential to be worth 20 million plus. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even discuss Matt O'Reilly for 20 million. What's happening with Matt O'Reilly right now is the English FA and English clubs are looking at Matt O'Reilly and going, shit, man, he's going to go to the World Cup and play for Denmark. We want to get him down the road and get him playing for us at international setup. They want him signing up for English because he's only a youth international. He can still go and play for England. So they want to get him down there as fast as possible. Knowing that they want him, knowing that he's English, knowing how handsome he is. I mean, like, it makes me look pedestrian. He's gorgeous. You know what I mean? I would be demanding well over 20. I could hit it with silly money. I'd be like 56 million to even come up here and even get into a debate with us, because that's what he's worth to us. Our players are going to stay. They're going to learn for the Champions League this year, and then they're going to repeat it next year. I don't see any of our players leaving. See, if Postecoglou is serious, right, about building this team, this squad, right, any player that wants to stay will stay. Like he says, I will not stand in any player's way should they want to leave. So if any player comes forward and says, look, I would like to exploit this opportunity and go, then he'd be like, right, here's your bags, I'll see you later. We'll make sure we get plenty of money for you and we'll replace you with 4 young talents who are hungry and have more desire than you, and they're going to go further in the game than you in the long run. I can see that for Postecoglou. He's got that intelligence. You know what I mean? Our squad has that intelligence. Look at Matt O'Reilly, just like he refused to just settle for a club. He demanded that he was going to stick to an attacking style. You know what I mean? When he first came to Celtic, that's the full reason he came here. And I know there's young players out there in the world. Look at me, like I'm a 40-year-old guy, and I'm looking at Ange Postecoglou and Celtic, and I'm thinking to myself, I could go up there and get the boots on again. You know what I mean? A couple of weeks, a pre-season under Ange, and I could play. I swear to God, I could play. You know what I mean? Not very well, but I could play.
Like us all then.
I do honestly think that clubs are looking on our club with envious eyes. Look at Big GG, the Greek god, right? One-touch finisher, bang, so predatorial, so deadly in the area, and a completely different dynamic to Kyogo. Get me? Kyogo's movement and ability. Seriously, like, see Man City staring at Kyogo and just salivating. And honestly, if Man City were an uncle, I would tell them, like, what you're doing with Ange Postecoglou is called grooming. Can you please stay away from our manager? Take a wee step back, please. You know what I mean? He's the Celtic manager, and this is where he will be staying. I would love Ange to commit his long-term future to Celtic. See, he come in and I know that doesn't happen in modern football with a manager in nowadays. I would love him to come in and be like, I'm here for 10 years.
Oh.
10 years. As long as you'll have me. I understand that's what it means, that rolling deal. As long as you'll have me, I'll be here. But
I think as well,
you know what I mean?
Keiser, what you said there is, I mean, we all wanted to commit his future, but I think you're right in saying this 1 year rolling contracts are things Celtic's done for years, even way back to when Strachan, Lennon, Mowbray, they're on it kind of happened as well. But before I continue, Mark Kearney wants to know why I'm on. It is a wee Australian number. It's quite nice as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Going down a treat during this year takeover with Keiser and Francis. But you made a great point there, Keiser, in terms of O'Reilly. I think for me, Francis, he puts a lot of young English players to shame. He's got that work ethic, that dedication to the game. You see the likes of Lingard's more interested in putting up tweets or TikTok. Like Man O'Reilly has a footballing brain. He's a footballing man, and even when his best mate Jen signed, he just smiles, enthusiastic. He loves playing for the club, so I can't really see it happening. I know it's a bit strange with Hrdjuranovic, Giakoumakis, and O'Reilly linked with these clubs. There is no doubt that clubs might be scouting and looking at them for future transfer targets, which is understandable. They're absolutely fantastic players, and the ceiling for their careers can only go up this way on the Ange Postecoglou. But coming to yourself, we kind of round off the kind of transfer talk. Francis, where else do you think we need to strengthen going into the Champions League campaign and domestic campaigns?
I mean, it seems to be the sort of the Celtic Twitterati. I feel like we want that central defensive midfielder. Postecoglou said he's not gone for one, but I would love one going in to come in. Like a Wanyama would be absolutely brilliant, but there's no many of them out there. And if they are, you're having to pay big bucks, which, in fairness to Postecoglou, well, he's done it with, I was shocked because he's done it with actually Jota, Carter, Vickers and Kyogo. If the transfer fees are to believe, he spent big bucks on him. But I would like to think a central defensive midfielder, just like a bully type player in there. But again, Postecoglou, that's more me what I think we need in the team. Postecoglou doesn't seem to think that, and I'm willing to trust him. I would like I've said that before, Stephen, I would like a striker in there of the Giakoumakis mould. I think when he dropped out the team last season with the injury and that, you kind of noticed that in certain games that you just needed that physical presence up the park. Obviously, we know Giakoumakis is more than just a target man. He does the work. He does the work off the ball and stuff like that. He does do a lot of thankless running. He does do shutting down. He does the hard graft. So if we can find another guy like that, but I wouldn't quite say we're in the sort of a Tottenham position, but we are in extent in the sense that any striker that comes to Spurs knows they're playing second fiddle to Kane, or even third to Son if Kane's injured, Son's going up there. And I think that could be a big problem with getting a striker in. I suppose you should not, obviously, in an ideal world, you should never be looking and going, well, you're coming in as third choice, mate. It should be coming in as you're challenging for first. And I think Postecoglou's a bit like that, where we've said that he's not looking for a strong starting 11, he's looking for a strong squad, which I think I think that's what obviously you're all right. It's a fan takeover.
It's exactly.
Sorry. It's all right. And I think it was in an ideal world, I would like a sort of a guy that's the guy they know you can rely on, but also knows he's probably got to be third choice and a striker. And I'm not stressing, desperate to get something in. I would love a defensive midfielder in. I'm not concerned if we don't get one in. I would be more. I'm not going to say I'm concerned if we don't get a striker in, but I'm not even sure I would be disappointed. But I would like us to get another Giakoumakis type of player in. But I feel it's going to be hard because they probably are coming in knowing Giakoumakis and Kyle are ahead of them, and it's trying to get that type of the calibre of player we want. You didn't just want a Chris Killen type guy that you just can't get for the SPL. You want somebody that you, in a European game, can step up, but it's got to be hard to achieve that knowing who we've already got in the door.
Yeah, 100%. I think as well, for me personally, maybe a third choice striker is great, but obviously to come in with that attitude that Postecoglou wants, and he kind of desires that kind of character that wants to come in and challenge for first place. Giakoumakis knows that, for example, Kyogo will start majority of games, but he has that attitude where he comes in, he does his job, he scores his goals, and he does his talking on the pitch instead of via Instagram or Twitter putting out tweets about the club or looking to get away or going to his agent, which is great to see. I think as well, Keiser, we have been linked to that player from Hajduk Split, Atanovic, the centre defensive midfielder. That's kind of went quiet at the moment. Francis made a great point. There is a lot of clamour and a lot of people wanting that. And Postecoglou himself said it's not really his style. But, I mean, we're being linked with these players, so there might be something happening. Where do you think we need strengthened?
I think we're really looking good. I do feel like a disruptive midfielder in the centre of midfield, right? A central defensive midfielder, somebody really disruptive would be great. You know what I mean? Somebody who can come in and break up play, help win back possession. But like we play really attacking football. You know what I mean? So really, when you're thinking about adding a defending asset, why do that when you can add an attacking asset? And we are attacking.
But I mean, it makes sense. You have to have balance within a team. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
No, you just piss into the wind, bro, and go all out. As long as you score more goals than the other team, you win. You know what I mean? That's how I love that when look how far back teams sit in domestically. Like Joe Hart's pushing out, and people are like, "Oh no, he's playing midfield," and I'm like, he's pushing out so as the two centre backs can split and cover the wing backs. It's easy to see rather than have another defender sitting back there. You push the keeper out and let him do that. You know what I mean? No problem. What am I missing?
Jed makes a great point there. Jed, can you see the comment? The last time we had 3 quality strikers, Larson, Hartson, and Sutton. What a triple.
Sutton played at centre half.
I know.
Like I say that, bro. Right? Who's going to come into Celtic and go? Oh, your third choice striker. They're going to be like that. Nominal. That's not an Ange player. That's not the attitude of an Ange player.
Exactly.
That's not the mental mentality that Ange looks for. Now I can see a player who is different to Giakoumakis and different to Kyogo. Somebody who's an aerial threat. Somebody who's like an aerial master, scoring goals with a heat. A good foil player, bringing the ball down and laying it through. Sharp could come in and go, well, really, I'm not third choice striker. I'm the third striker. I offer something different. I bring something to the table. Giakoumakis has his great finishing and his power and his strength to get in about defenders. Kyogo has his movement. Whoever I am, I'm dynamite with the heat. Cross the ball and I'll rocket it in. We have got an apple at a 10 bob bit. Whatever, you know what I mean, mate? Whatever. But bring something that's different. Bring a different asset that you can change a game with. You know what I mean? You can always go, there's 10 minutes to go. This doesn't look like it's working. Bring out the big guy. You know, like, Manuel, fucking 8-foot tall, big Japanese guy. Manuel, big tall bean. You know what I mean? Whatever, you know what I mean? That's exactly, bring something different, bring something new. And I do think that's exactly what when Ange says, oh, we're going to remain nimble. And I know we've been looking, well, reports are that we're looking at a few players. There's the French boy, Edouard Maurice, I believe his name is.
Michu,
sorry.
John likes him, yeah.
So we're supposed to be tracking him, supposedly. And then this guy, Gianni, as well. I can't say his second name either, bro, but you got it, Stephen. You nailed it. Right? So I'm relying on you now,
it's
bro.
Not like him. It's
you
not like him
it,
to get
bro.
A name right.
Right?
It's not like him to get a name right.
I do believe when Ange is saying, like, we'll remain agile. If something too good to be true comes up, he's going to take it. You know what I mean? If a player announces himself, and I do think that's what's going to be happening at Celtic right now. There's going to be young players. Certainly, see the players that we want at Celtic, right, are going to be turning up at our door. They're going to be turning up at our door and they're going to be going, I see what you're doing here. I know you're the kind of manager that believes in his players and develops players. I'm that guy. I'm that guy you're looking for. You know what I mean? Need a guy for a rubber pitch? I'm that guy. You know what I mean? Need a guy to run through a wall? I'm that guy. Need a guy to slide tackle a post? I'm that fucking guy. Get me in there. You know what I mean? That's exactly what's coming to Celtic. And all the players that are there right now, the reason that I'm not really bothered if these players move on or stay is because I know the players that are going to be coming at the back of him, the quality. I just hope that we really extend it to the youth team and start creating clear paths to first team football for young Scottish players and young players here in this country. Maybe not even necessarily Scottish, but young players coming to Celtic. Because if English teams can attract our players, right, best players in Scotland, they can attract with high wages. We need to offer something that they don't offer. They will offer you high wages, good training, but zero first team action, zero game time, maybe a League Cup once in a blue moon if you're lucky. So we can offer a clear path to first team football, players getting in and playing first team football. And now we've got that many players there that are going to be rotating. It looks like rather than having a first 11, we've got like a first 16. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these players are all ready to go. And Ange's going to be saying, look, that player might be the best player in the world. He might be the best defender in the world. But see if you run as hard and as fast as you can for 60 minutes and he tracks you, he's going to get fucking tired. And then I'm going to sub you and I'm going to put Big GG on and he's going to go and put a finger in between his cheeks and score goals for us. I
think as well, it brings it back to the whole thing, the whole recent Celtic B team upgrade and kind of Tommy McIntyre left the position. So McManus and Darren O'Dea are taking over that as joint managers. But Postecoglou said it himself, that streamlines the players because McManus he was in the first team obviously last season coaching, so he knows what they need. And I do hope that there is a pathway to the first team. I'm a big advocate for it. I know John is, but McCoho he's an advocate for the Celtic B team kind of getting chances in the first team. We've seen it in pre-season, like Fada come in, Summers is playing, the wee right back, I can't remember his name, but he impressed me in the game he played against that semi-professional side. He was quite good. And you look at it, Francis, I think Keiser makes a great point. If you have that continuity, you have that pathway, you can see more young prospects choosing us over the bigger, so to speak, European outfits who won't give them anything.
Right, well, even right now, Francis and Stephen, there's Moffat, right? And the players that are coming into Celtic, clearly his path into first team football at Celtic, he missed a wee window of opportunity he had and he got injured. You get me? But now it's looking like his next opportunity is going to be like in 2 years' time. So he's linked with Blackpool and looking at a transfer away for Celtic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we are going to lose talented young players to big wages, right? But see, if you want to go and get big wages, there's going to come a time in your career, especially playing at a club like Celtic, where that's going to happen for you. You know, if you turn up, if you put in the work, if you play well for Celtic, I mean, this is the greatest short window in the world to the league that pays the most money in the world. England is literally 100 miles, 200 miles away. You know what I mean? I could spit and hit them, hopefully. You know what I mean? Hopefully. But the big show's there, the big money's right there. You know what I mean? So players coming here and being at Celtic, you've got a chance to play at Celtic. Wonderful fans, amazing atmosphere, amazing opportunities. You're being viewed by English clubs. You're in the press. It's in the same island, whether we like it or not. The island's running a Dutch. They get to see the press as well. Your name is, the narrative is out there. You ascend. Your stock starts rising. And they may look at our league and go, Farmers League, Pub League. Considering the English Premiership and what the English Premiership is, the fact that we've got teams with plastic pitches and that is just, it's horrendous.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Poor quality. We should really look at, like I say, right, I'm Celtic daft, so I'm like, get us a Celtic app, a tenner a month, we can watch everything Celtic, all the games. Conservative estimates say there's 250,000 people who would buy this app at a tenner a month. That's £2.5 million a month over 12 months. That's a lot of money. You get me? That's more money than you're getting off Sky. Now, the SPFL could launch an app, SPFL app, £10 a month for every team in Scotland in the top division and maybe one division under. And you would have Old Firm fans, right? Well, Celtic fans and Sefco fans paying in. So that's where the lion's share of the money's going to come from. But there's also going to be buy-ins for Hearts fans, Hibs fans, Dundee United fans. I've got family members who are Dunfermline fans, who are from Dunfermline, and they support their team just as passionately as I support my team. They would buy and watch football if they could. And what you do with all that money then, if it's an SPFL app, is you take that money and you use half it for prizes towards your leagues and payments, you get me? And you use the other half to upgrade the youth system and youth football right across the whole of Scotland. Look at somewhere like Japan and look at what Japan's doing and look at the quality and the talent of player that they're producing. And I would say just on a stupid statement, I would say Japanese players, one thing I would say about them is they're all quite lightweight and slight build. You get me? They're not big beefy individuals unless they're sumo wrestlers. I've seen them, you know what I mean? But I'm just talking about the soccer players that I've seen or the football players I've seen. They're quite highly technically skilled, great players. But you look at them and you think, maybe they're a wee bit lightweight. But how are they producing these players? Where are these players coming from? There's got to be a system implemented there where you're for gaining experience and intelligence. And I know for a fact it's not going to be the same as me because I played in a dash bitch, getting hit in the face with a mitre dealt a ball while 4 alcoholics screamed at me, "Doom! Doom! Take it back now!"
I'll tell you one thing, Keiser. I'll tell you one thing. You've took us in all different avenues this evening. It's been great, to be fair. But I want to rein it back a wee bit, Franny, and just finish up the transfer chat. I mean, you made great points. I mean, the Sky TV deal we all know was absolutely a shambles. Doncaster is a shambles of promoting the Scottish football. I think we're all in agreement that app or a TV kind of service like an Amazon or whatever, a subscription base would be better and more beneficial in terms of what we talked about. But kind of rounded up with the transfer activities, model ready, that type of thing. Going into obviously approaching the final stages of the window. You mentioned a defensive midfielder. Would you be happy if we didn't sign anyone else, Francis?
I would be happy. Well, I would be happy, but again, you should never. I don't know if should you ever be happy because you'd always be looking to try and improve. Like if you're sitting there saying I'm happy, are you technically standing still? It's one of the ones. I would be happy, but it's depending on how you want to interpret it. Happy, you always want to be better. You should always want to be better. But I think I would be confident going into the campaign with this squad, Stephen.
100%. And we'll move on to the game at the weekend, Keiser. We are at Tannadice. Jack Ross himself is under pressure, I think, to be honest, that he lost heavily to Alkmaar. I was quite disappointed because I thought they had a chance to maybe make a mark in Europe and bring Scottish football again back into the equation of European football, but they ultimately failed. They got beat 3-0 by St Mirren in their previous game, I believe, at home as well. So it's not looking well for them at the minute. Get into the game on Sunday. Confidence must be high. I mean, Celtic are flying. We're in the Champions League. Should it be an issue, really?
I do believe, like when Ange says, I will prepare for the best possible Dundee United that can show up on the day, and that would be the Dundee United that managed to get a result against Alkmaar and play some nice football along the way. So they have it in the tank. They have the capabilities there to upset the apple cart if they want, if we allow them to. You get me? If we were ill prepared or if we take them lightly and we don't make sure that we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So I expect it to be a thoroughly professional performance, turning up there and doing the business, getting the business done and start leading in towards the Champions League. Just every positive after positive after positive. You know what I mean? Just build on it and build on it. In the league as well, I just see us just continuing to go from strength to strength and continuing to build on what we're doing. Take every opponent seriously, take every game as it comes, one at a time. And that's exactly what Ange will do. And he might say, like, I won't alter my style. What it means is I won't alter my philosophy. It will be attacking, it will be swashbuckling, it will be seat of the pants at some moments. But you'll have fun. Yeah. You'll love it. You'll remember 100%. It. You'll remember it as long as you live. You know what I mean?
I think he's brought that already. His aura about him is incredible. I mean, he walked in the door. They were all kind of not downbeat. The whole Eddie Howe saga dragged on, and people were moaning. This is me myself included. Who is this guy? But he's an absolute incredible man. Like, and Francis, are we going to make it 5 out of 5 at Tannadice? What do you reckon? How's it going to go?
I can't say anything, but I think that, like, obviously we've won 35, 36 games in the league on the bounce. There's no better thing than actual winning. It's a good habit we're in now, a good place we're in. So, like Keiser said, he's bang on. Like, Postecoglou will give every team respect. It will prepare for the best Dundee United can offer. I mean, even just one of the biggest games of the season was the Abada goal. We won that game, but Dundee United gave us a one of the games where I Seagrass isn't there anymore, but it was one of the ones where he was just pulling save after save. It was becoming a hard game, but we've started flying. Again, it's a tricky away game going up to Dundee United, but they're sort of in different forms. So whereas we're not, we know where we're at. We've obviously got the new boy coming in. Whether they start plays or not, we'll get into that. But again, it gives the players in his position a wee bit of kick saying, well, there's a guy in here to challenge me for my position, so I better make sure my levels stay where they're at or improve. So I can't see anything. I can't see anything but a win for us, Stephen, up at Dundee United.
Well, I'll stay with you for now then. Your score and lineup prediction, Francis.
I think the back, obviously Joe Hart will be in goals. The back four, I think it'll stay the same with Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Jens and Taylor. Midfield, I reckon Hatate will come back in for Tumble, so it would be Kalmak, Hatate and O'Reilly. Then I think the front threes, I think Giakoumakis might come in that. I think it'll be Maeda, Giakoumakis and Jota on the right.
Fair enough. And your score prediction?
3-0.
I can see something like that. And Keiser, yourself, I mean, you've been a master tactician tonight. You've talked about the style, the philosophy. Have you any curveballs for us in your score and lineup prediction?
No, much the same. I do think if it's no broke, Ange won't fix it. I do think we'll start off the way we've been starting off with Kyogo, and then maybe see Haksabanovic and GG introduced like 60th minute, like he's been doing, that rotation of subs.
Yeah.
But definitely I see as like 3-0. Sounds good to me, Francis, bro. I'm down for that, my man. Definitely.
So we're both going for 3-0, yeah?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Is that a treble?
We'll go for a treble there. We'll go for a treble. I mean, you're the master at the Super Six, do you know what I mean? So anyone who hasn't got their scores in, get them in so we can get Francis off the top spot. We need to achieve that this week.
And anybody who wants to do what I'm doing, just mail the guys. I said that earlier on social media and that. Just mail Stephen, Francis, or John. Just mail the guys and can write in on the show. 100%. It's been brilliant, guys, man.
It's been fantastic having you on, Keiser. And I have to make people aware as well. Jed Thomas, who's in the comments tonight, he's the next up, which is the 28th of October, I believe he'll be on. So we're doing this once every 2 months. But obviously,
you'll love it.
If the interest keeps going and things like that, we'll obviously make that probably a monthly thing as well. But in terms of the podcast, guys, have you enjoyed this one?
It's been good, mate. It's been good. It's been different. It's been different.
Yeah. like I say, guys, is I'm primarily what I do is live streaming, gaming on Twitch. So I'll play music. Give yourself a wee plug,
Keiser. Tell what you do.
Right. So basically, yo, I'm the Keiser, like a ninja but wiser. I live stream on Twitch. I create my own content. I play games, have fun. The content I create is family friendly, all inclusive. I don't care where you're from, where you were born, race, creed, colour, origin, sexuality, sexual preference. Everybody's welcome in my channel. I play games, have fun, play some music, debate, look smouldering good looking. Like that's just off the bat. That's just I turn up with that, right? I also wear a light up suit. It's like a black suit and it's a stick man and it lights up and I go outside the house.
I dressed like that in fact at Halloween one time.
I go outside the house and I dance on the driveway, bro. I can't dance and I can't sing, but I do it. I don't care. It's brilliant. I have great fun.
What do you call your channel, Keiser?
It's just my name, bro. It's just Keiser. Just like obviously, well, not obviously, but a young man growing up here in Govan. When I was out hanging around with my friends, we get stopped with the police, and the police says to me, "What's your name?" And I said, "Well, the government name, right? I don't want to issue it out here, right?"
That's okay. Right? That's all right. That's fine.
But they says, "You're for a notorious crime family in this area. You must have a criminal record." And I says, "I've not got a criminal record. I'm a good boy. I behave myself." And the copper says, "No, you must be the Keiser Soze. You're the criminal we've never caught." And because it was in front of my friends, that was that. They just always called me Keiser Soze for then on. But a great nickname. I love it. If I could have picked one for myself, I'd have been like, use it. Give us it.
I'm going to throw a quick one at you here before we end, right? Just the way I agree to disagree. Now, you've got 4 options. You can strongly agree, or medium, so you're just kind of in the middle, or strongly disagree, or just disagree, right? I'll throw one out to you, and both answer first, and I'll come to you individually. So, Keiser, I'll come to you. Just answer first, and then we'll go into it. If Celtic fail to get second place in the Champions League group stage, would that be a failure in European football this season? Strongly agree, disagree. What do you think?
I would strongly agree, because I don't want us to go into the Europa League. So for
right,
that reason,
hold it there. Hold it there.
Sorry, I would strongly agree.
Franny, what about yourself? If we fail to finish second,
I'd disagree.
Right, I'll start with you. Why do you disagree?
Well, I'm disagreeing on the basis we get Europa League. I think if it's one of the ones, I'm basing my judgment on we've got to still get European football in the back yet. Again, it's just one of the ones. Last season, we weren't great in Europe, so getting in, it would essentially be a similar, not the same position, because it's obviously the competition down was the Conference League, but you'd be getting to a similar stage of the competition and a higher one. It's just, I think I feel like I'm going to argue against my own point here, because it's technically it would technically be progression, but is it false progression then, because you finished third in a group that thankfully, because I mean we won the league, that was amazing. It was a great achievement to win the league, and what came with that was getting into the Champions League. So would finishing third and getting to the last 32 of the Europa League be a false progression? I don't know if it could be a false progression, because I honestly don't know where I'm on this, Stephen. I was wanting to disagree, but then when I started trying to argue my case, I feel like it's maybe a false progression. I feel like.
So you've kind of backtracked on your original point.
Well, I have backtracked on it, Stephen, but I'm still going to disagree. I think third, maybe success is not the right word for it, but I would be more than happy with third. I'd be happy with third.
I mean, I'll put you on the fence, because I think you're in between there. Let's be honest, Franny. I think you're in between, kind of verging both ways here. And I think as well, if you finish fourth in the group, you're guaranteed Conference League, aren't you? I think that's the way it's working. You're in the.
Surely no.
I think it is. Yeah, I think there's a progression route into there.
I would rather just come out.
I'll happily be corrected in the comments if people can actually tell me. So I think it is that. But Keiser, you strongly agreed. Give me your reasons why.
Sorry, right? I'm quiet when I shouldn't be. I strongly agree. For me, right, it would be a disappointment. See, when I was a young man, I used to cry at my mum and ask her for a petrol motorbike for my Christmas, right? I never got a petrol motorbike, but when I got a BMX, I was happy with it. But I wanted that fucking petrol motorbike. I'm sick of getting BMXs, guys. I'm fucking sick of getting BMXs. You know, I'm sick of third place. I'm sick of people who gun for third place and settle for well enough, or oh, well, we're still in Europe. It's not the big... We're going to be in Europe. I think fourth place is the Conference League, so we're going to be in Europe either way. You get me? I'm sick of squabbling for scraps.
I would rather go out than...
You get me? I'm sick of squabbling for scraps. I think we should go in, match day 1, destroy Real Madrid at Celtic Park, take the top of the table, and I think Real Madrid are the kind of team, or they're that good a team, that they would be looking at our possible opponents, people who they could possibly face, qualifying from the other group, and thinking to themselves, maybe it might be nice to finish second in this group. No, maybe it might be nice to take that other draw, depending on other teams' performances and the way they go. A lot could happen. But like, I do believe finishing third, I would be disappointed. But I would be happy we still had European football. Yeah. I would be disappointed that the players never got that real experience of the Champions League. Like right now, like I look at Celtic's team and the way we train and the way we play, I've got to say, like, these players are developing every day. They're developing all the time. They're always pushing for excellence. So see, when they play against Real Madrid and teams like that, and they get to see top quality opposition, then they get to draw the line in the sand and go, that's how fast I be. That's how fast I need to be. That's how quick I need to run. That's how clinical I need to be. And they work on that. And that's how we improve. That's progression. I don't want to... Unless Andrew's going to come out and go, tell you what, we're winning it. And like, I bet my left nut on it, and actually pull his nut out and put it on the table with a meat cleaver and go, you bet, we're winning it. You get me? I demand success. I
think Monty is on the same.
A Celtic fan in it, guys, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Monty Keiser, he's on the same wavelength as you here. Well said, Keiser. We are Celtic. It's time to make new legends, which is correct. I mean, for me to finish it off, I would disagree, right? For the reason because if we finish second, it's absolutely fantastic. That's my ambition. That's where I want us to be. I'm using third place as a base mark, as a benchmark where we should be, like regardless where we should be in that group. Third place, if we get through the knockout stages of the Europa League, I want us to make progression by winning a knockout tie of European football. We need to do that. We need to stop being the club people get in European football knockout stages and being like, oh, we'll turn them over. For example, Point A and Keisler, they've done it quite easily, let's be honest. I want us to challenge. If we drop in the Europa League, I want us to do what Sevco done. I'm not going to lie about it. I think there's no reason why we couldn't do that. We have the same squad ability with probably more quality within the squad, more technical players. There has to be that ambition within that group to succeed. And the Keiser rightly said, you look at the elite players, how they train, how they eat, how they run, the positions to take up in the pitch, they made their names European football. We could have the next star in Kyogo, for example. He could go on to Real Madrid or whatever. I'm not saying he's going to fly like that, but I'm saying he could make a name for himself again. You could have Maeda closing down for a world-class club because he's brilliant at that. We've got players who are brilliant at certain things. Postecoglou's molded that team into a unit, into a well-cohesive, well-drilled unit, as Bodo Glimt were, Keiser, as you rightly said last year, because they were into that process. I think it was 2 years, wasn't it, under their manager? So they were gradually building the scalp Roman, the scalp us as well. So we need to take lessons from last year, implement it this year. If we don't get second, fair enough. If we get third, make a fist of it. Go into it confident.
Stephen, do you remember what Bodo Glimt done after they beat us?
They got put out, didn't they?
They get battered, right? So what they did was actually train for a month, tailored their entire approach to overturning us. That was the game of their season. You get that was at it was like do it all, and they put that much into playing us and overturning us as they did. They never went any further. They had nothing else. You know what I mean?
Great point.
But sorry, I'm missing it, bro. As I said earlier,
all limitations are self-imposed.
That's it, bro. Yeah. Like I want Celtic to shoot for the top, and I do believe, right, you're only as strong as your closest rival. The way I see our board act and the way they spend money and the stuff come in, they're very reactive. They're never proactive. They didn't go out and sign all these players and then sit and go, well, what are you going to do? They watch across the city to see if they were going to progress or not, because then that determines whether they're going to spend money. And if they spend money, then what happens if they get a few good players in? We're going to need to spend money. I do feel like I would like Celtic not to be a reactive club. I would like them to be proactive. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think that's one of the main issues
for excellence
as a support we have. But we are 1 hour, 18 minutes in. It's been the first edition of the Fear Takeover. Keiser has joined us. Have you enjoyed it, Keiser?
Loved it, bro. I don't even matter. I'm staying. This can go. Love that. Absolutely love that. Highly recommend it to anybody out there looking to get involved. Highly
get involved. 100%. Yeah. And also you're a member of the Endless Celts Podcast, and we greatly appreciate that. If anyone else wants to do that, it's 99p a month. Simply click join. You get the emojis John have made. They're absolutely fantastic. My grand is in here, Francis. Well done, boys. Great show. Thanks for watching along. Have you enjoyed it, Francis?
It's been good. It's been good. As I said earlier, it's been different. It's been different, but good different.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you, Francis. I'm happy with that.
Last week, we both fucking squad.
And hopefully, when we're back on Monday, we're discussing another win, top of the table, looking down on the you-know-who. And hopefully, we'll have you, Francis, knocked off top spot of the Super Six.
Not a chance.
That's it, podcast, guys.
Ousting you off the top.
And until Monday, stay well and keep safe. Hail, hail.
Legends.